Hey there guys, welcome back to another awesome video, and we have another top 10 video. And today's top 10 video, since we did the best movies of 2022, we're now going to do the top 10 worst movies of 2022. And for this list, these are going to be what I thought and what I consider the worst out of the bunch from this year. And like I said with my best movies of this year, I'm also going to say that these are the movies that I saw this year, and these are the only ones I got to see, and then this is just my opinion, and these are the ones I feel were the worst out of the bunch. If there's any that you feel that were the worst out of the worst from the dumpster pile of 2022, then you're more than welcome to let me know in the comments section, or if there's any that I missed, you're more than welcome to let me know down below as well. And you know what? I'm just here to just basically say these are the worst, and you know what? Let's just go into this. At number 10, we got Jackass Forever. Now, on a plus side, I'm gonna be a little nice to this movie, is that I'm glad that Johnny Knoxville got to reunite with his best buddies, his pals, and all that stuff. But I feel like this really isn't necessary, and it's just as obnoxious, if not more obnoxious, than the Jackass movies, really. I know the first one worked, but I think the sequels just kind of got lackluster and just kind of more just the same formula. Number 9, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is a Netflix movie, and honestly, this just kind of is very lackluster and very much annoying and doesn't capture what worked with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that's pretty much it with this film. Lackluster and annoying. Number 8 is Ice Age and the Adventures of Buck Wild. I don't know why this exists. The animation looks very just low budget. It looks very cheap. You can just tell with certain textures, it just looks very weird, and it just doesn't need to exist. And you take one of the cool characters about the Ice Age franchise, and you kind of do this little adventure that's not even centered around the main character. It's more centered around those weird possums, so that's kind of even more worse. And honestly, I'm just really surprised that this franchise is still going when this franchise should have just went extinct years ago. At number 7 is Morbius. Now, to be fair to Morbius, it is not the best and it's not the worst. I don't think it's the worst comic book movie in existence, because there are worse out there in existence, but it's very much borderline in the middle. However, what really made me put this movie on this list is the fact of how annoying the Morbin memes have been. Like, literally ever since Morbius was trending, all that I kept seeing were Morbin memes, and it's Morbin time memes, and they just got annoying to the T. And just now looking at it, some of the writing and the effects are cringy. And Sony is desperately still trying to do that Sinister Six movie. Stop while you're ahead, Sony. And honestly, I'm not even excited for that Craven movie that's coming out next year. Nothing personal to Aaron Taylor Johnson, but I am not excited for that film at all. And number 6, Sneakerella. Honestly, why? I get it. Actually, you know what? I don't get why this exists. I don't understand why this needs to exist. Why do we need to do another telling of that Cinderella story, and why modernize the Cinderella story? It just feels just very unnecessary and pointless to do. And for whatever reason, Disney wanted to capture on this idea, and yeah, it works, but not for a Cinderella story. That Cinderella story, if you could have done something different and not have it been something Cinderella related. Alright, we're nearing down our final 5 my list, and yes, we're going by this really quick because I want to get through this really quick. But number 5 is Blacklight. There are so many forgettable Liam Neeson movies ever since Taken 3, and it seems like every movie that Liam Neeson has done after Taken 3 has just felt like another Taken movie. Like, this feels like Taken 7 or something, and this is not needed. Again, forgettable, lazy, and even Liam Neeson doesn't want to be in this movie, and I feel bad for Liam Neeson because he's just stuck doing these, like, bland, generic direct-to-DVD, direct-to-streaming films where he's just playing that tough, grizzled, like, tough guy who's old, but he can kick ass and all that stuff. Like, do something else with Liam Neeson, Hollywood. Just stop having him do this. Just give the man a break or let him rest. Number 4 is 365 Days This Day. The 365 movie, I remember really not liking. I don't know why there's a sequel. It's very unnecessary, and even the title itself doesn't sound that great. And honestly, it's not that great. This really wasn't that great of a movie, and it's just not great, period. Number 3 is Zombies 3. Wow, what a surprise! What a surprise, because Zombie, the first Zombies movie, was terrible. Sequel was pointless. And the third one, what is this? Seriously, what the hell is this? This needs to stop. This franchise needs to stop. This doesn't need to exist. And I know I've been saying that with a lot of these movies, but this franchise, seriously, to the T, needs to not exist. I mean, come on. Like, it's just... I'm speechless. I'm genuinely speechless that there's 3 of these. There's 3 of these movies, guys. Number 2 is Under Wraps 2. Now, I never saw the original Under Wraps, but I know that it got a reboot. I think I want to say last year or in 2020. Why? I don't know. Sequel kind of just feels like it's an updated, modernized version of this story, and it's just forgettable. Very, very forgettable. Before I unveil our number 1 pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Ticket to Paradise. This plot is just so predictable. This rom-com's not even that funny, and literally, I remember seeing the trailer for this, or the preview for this movie, when Bella and I went to go see Minions 2, and literally, the trailer gives away every little thing, and it makes the movie even worse because you don't need to go see the movie. Literally, there's one trailer that tells the beginning, middle, end of the story. George Clooney and Julia Roberts don't like each other. They start to like each other because of their kids or their daughters getting married, and then they're like, oh, we don't know about this idea. We don't like that you guys are getting married. And then they start to, like, butt heads, and then they've come to realization that their daughter's happy, and then they live happily ever after. That's literally how the trailer is. Beat, 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 boom. That's the movie, essentially. So, The Bubble. On paper, this premise could have really worked. The idea of kind of like making fun of the pandemic, because this movie kind of makes fun of the pandemic. But this movie is so bad and so cheap. And yeah, maybe that's the point. It's supposed to look cheap, but this looks not even good cheap. This looks like not even like this doesn't look like Goodwill or Salvation Army cheap, because at least Salvation Army and Goodwills are good. This is like dumpster fire cheap, or whatever's like lower than dirt. I don't know. Moonfall. I know Roland Emmerich is known for disaster movies, both figuratively and literally, although Independence Day is a very fun movie, and I think we all can admit that, but what was this movie, Roland Emmerich? Like, really, what was this? And now, my number 1 pick of my top 10 worst movies of 2022 is, drumroll please, The Depp and Heard Trial. I don't think I even need to explain myself, but I will explain. The fact that this already has a biopic on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. Not even less than a year, there's already a biopic on it. It's a lazy, half-assed biopic, documentary, autobiography, whatever you want to call this. It doesn't even make fun of anything exactly. It takes itself too serious. It doesn't even make fun of both perspectives. It only just makes fun of the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard memes, but it doesn't really Like, it doesn't, it obviously swaying towards Amber Heard, which makes this even more worse of a flick. And it could have benefited better if it was a parody and made fun of both perspectives and both point of views and played off both point of views rather than just being like, oh, Johnny Depp was the bad guy. And that's what pisses me off more about this flick, is that it obviously is so biased. It doesn't need to be biased. You could have done something so much better with this film, and instead you do this. And you have like such like C-rate, like poor, like cheap Dollar Tree actors in this film, like random people, you don't even know them from nothing. These are people from squat, basically. And you can't get anyone good to hire for this movie and have a better budget. And this went to like something like Chibi. Like, it didn't go anything to like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon, Amazon Prime, Amazon Video. It didn't go to Apple TV. It didn't go to Peacock. It didn't go to any of the bigger mainstream streaming platforms, and it went to something so random as Chibi. Like, no one has Chibi, no one owns Chibi, and you put this film out on that streaming service. And I think the reason why it's on that streaming service is because every other streaming service saw this movie and said, it's a pile of shit, and you deserve to not be associated with Netflix, Hulu, or any of our brands. So you're gonna go to the dirt of streaming, and this movie is the dirt of this year. So those are my picks for this year. Let me know yours in the comments section. We're finally done with 2022. A majority of this year was pretty good, but we had a few bumps in the road and outside of films that were trash, but we had a few things that happened. But I think we did pretty good this year, and I think next year's definitely, in terms of films, there's a lot much more to look forward to, and that's when we will unveil, probably towards the end of this year into the new year, sometime next week, will be my most anticipated movies 2023. So make sure you smash the like button. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I do videos every day of every week. Make sure you ring that bell. We do new videos every day of every week. Share this video with your favorite friends, all that good stuff and more. Leave some suggestions in the comments. You name it, I'll look into it as best as possible. I hope you guys do have a great new year, and I'll see you guys in the new year. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.